Targ, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout. Today was max effort squat day. Quick reminder for those of you who watch this video, please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. I need to get this voiceover done. I've been sitting at my desk, goofing off on social media, jamming out to music for the last hour when I should have been doing this voiceover. You know, it just happens sometimes. But we did a box squat with the safety bar for the max. This is a 30-pound PR off of a 1-inch lower box, by the way, for those curious, because I put up as a 30-pound PR. The heaviest I've done off of a box with this bar is 441. Yes, I've done 531 this year with a back squat with it, not the box. You know, for people who say, well, should it be that big? Well, look at the cambered bar. Okay. What have I back squatted with the cambered bar 605? What's my best box squat with it? 535, 70 pounds difference. Okay. So this is about right. This was hard. The difference is, though, I'm doing all this stuff off of a box again now because I really want to work on my power squat mechanics. I've been doing almost Olympic squatting again. I need to get these mechanics back down. I feel like it carries over to my deadlift well. I need to get back into power squatting. And again, notice how much easier I hit depth when I'm able to do this. When I get used to sitting way back on the box, I'm well below parallel. I've shown you guys before that for me, a 12-inch box is about approximately 2 inches below parallel when we've checked it from the side, for me personally, where my hip position is. So me doing this and practicing hitting this depth with these wider stances with these different bars, I think it's going to carry back over. I just need to maintain these mechanics when I go back over to back squatting. So I'm going to work all these different bars. I'm going to work on getting strong. I'll have to figure out what sort of strength goals I need to hit on them, but I need to get some of my other bars up to 600 off the box. This, we need to get it up to 500 off the box, but I mean, I need to get it a lot higher than that. But in the meantime, we're going to work it. And the difference is the way that I feel my glutes and upper hamstrings and hips and everything. My posterior chain gets hammered hard on this rep work. It's super hard. Feels so much different than when I've been doing the back squats, even with this bar. It's not like I don't still feel quad. I still do. It's a different beast. And I think that's one of the reasons I got my deadlift up originally up to 600. You know, I can talk about a lot of the accessory work I was doing, but I was box squatting all the time. I was box squatting all the time. It matters. And then this bar, I mean, I noticed a lot of mid-back on it. Even to the point where I realized doing it, it's like I probably don't even need to be rowing on these days. And I know the grip might benefit, but I can do my other squeeze work. And maybe if I'm going to only do rowing on my upper body days, I should probably throw in some lateral raises or something just to make sure the delts get hit. And it's a little bit of direct delt work wouldn't be a bad idea. If there's any muscle in the upper body that can benefit from some single joint exercises, is probably delts. We can argue about arms all day long, but even my tricep work, the JM press, arguably the best strength builder for the tricep, arguably, is a multi-joint exercise. Delts, probably one of the few muscles that can almost always benefit from it. You know, unless you're going to do some snatch grip high pulls and stuff, in which case that's probably better. I don't know that my shoulders can handle that, so I can probably do some laterals. All right, I can do some laterals and then just keep my grip training going. Grip training is going very good at this point, though. It's going very well. So I'm happy with the way all my stuff's going on the axle bar. And I do feel like the static work with the Crush, Captains of Crush grippers is helping. I think it's helping. So I'm going to continue to do that, but my forearms are beat up all the time. My forearms are pretty well beat up most of the time as a result of doing all that. But those went well. They were challenging. The final rep was really tough on each one, but they didn't just beat me into the ground doing the boxes with that. Good training response, and they were hard. I felt like with the last rep, I didn't know if I could do a 6th rep. Then we did one of our mainstays, safety bar good morning. I got 12 reps on the last set. The first couple, I felt like I knew I had more reps. I'm like, let me take the last set a little further. And I managed to get 12. I may need to increase the weight on these. Probably time to do so that I can stay in that 10 rep range. Because if I can get 12 on my last set and I didn't feel like an all-out 1 rep in reserve or 0 reps in reserve, I probably could have got a 13th rep too. I'm not going to say probably, I know I could have. So we need to just increase the weight. rather than me trying to up the reps further. It's time to put more tension on the bar on this. But that's a good sign. It means my back is getting stronger. And keeping in mind, all the lats and lower traps and mid traps do get worked on all these safety bar movements, especially the good mornings. So that will contribute to my rowing stuff. But again, the delts might be getting a little shortchanged if I don't pull on these days also, like with rowing. So, I do need to keep everything balanced there if I'm going to not do those. But today's workout was good. I mean, it was hard, but it didn't beat me up. So that's the main thing. This was challenging, but I do not feel just run into the ground. Nice, good PR. 3 sets of box squats, 3 sets of good mornings, 3 sets of glute ham raises, 3 sets of belt squats, 3 sets of reverse hypers. Went pretty well. I'm overall quite happy with it. But yeah, so the good mornings, we got a 12th rep. Okay. I need to increase the weight. But that even tells me, because this weight alone says that I'm pretty much ready to PR. If I can do 3 sets of 10 with this, which I've been doing, I could probably PR on this. Right now, though, I'm only maxing on 1 lower body lift per session, because, again, recovery, overuse, all that at this point. I don't want to waste one on a good morning at the moment. We know my good morning maxes are good. I can extrapolate off of that and say, hey, my percentages are off because my max is probably higher. I need to put more weight on the bar. I don't necessarily need to just test it at this point. If it was one of my clients, I would probably just test it again. I really do need to be squatting and pulling for my maxes. But I could work a good morning in if I felt like it. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. Wouldn't be a terrible idea, especially when I know I could PR. But not today. Glute ham raises. Did my 10-pound plate. Got 13 on all 3 sets. So 13 reps. I'm going to keep pushing these up. It's kind of hard to add more weight at this point. I've got to use little silly plates, or I don't know. I could go to a 25 eventually, but I feel like my reps might get too low with a 25. I'll keep pushing this 10 out. And I don't know if I can get high enough. I guess I could just add a second 10. I could grab 2 10s, get it back down to 10 reps. I don't know how that's going to carry over though, because it feels like when I go to a 10, it's a big jump, because I've done 5 sets of 20 with body weight, and then when I grabbed that 10-pounder, sets of 10 got hard. Almost cuts my reps in half. So it's a big deal. So I don't know what's going to happen if I try to grab another one. I guess I could try to grab a 5. It might be worth doing, see if we can get 10s with that. And that might be what I need to do. Because again, I'm up to 13. And the first 2 sets, they weren't all out. The last set, that 13th rep, I knew that was my last rep. I don't think I could have got another one. The first 2 sets, I had a rep in the tank. We had a rep in the tank. But my hamstrings aren't cramping, so that's a good thing too. But I'm drinking even more water right now. I'm trying to stay really, really hydrated at the moment. That matters a lot for me on this hamstring work, because glute ham raises, if I'm not careful, they'll cramp. But they're not cramping after this work today, so that's a good sign too. It's a very good sign. It means my recovery's on point, that my hamstrings are in shape, probably well hydrated. So happy with that. But yeah, so we're just going to develop the lower body on these days. I'm not going to worry as much about the rowing for now. I will continue to do what I'm doing with the rowing on the upper days. My shoulder health is doing a lot better. And I'm looking forward to the day where I can actually do chin-ups pain-free. And if I can do that, that's going to be a game changer again, especially for the lats and lower traps and everything. So something to look forward to and to keep working on the shoulder health. I'm not ready yet. I'm not there yet. I don't know, maybe sometime next month. But again, I'll stick to my rules on it. I've set a rule in place of when I will try it. Until I can reach that point, we're not going to risk it. So, lower body today. But hamstrings obviously got a lot of work. Because the hamstrings do get worked on those deep boxes. They get worked. So almost everything today was a hamstring exercise. If we take those out, we still ended up doing 9 sets for hamstrings, and that's a lot. But you know what? We got good work in on all of it. It was all effective volume. We didn't lose performance, and even my final hamstring exercises, we did good. We actually picked up some reps. So the work capacity's there. The work capacity's there. But we need that hamstring work. We need that posterior chain. But today was also really, really heavy on the quad volume. Not counting the max, we got 6 sets in because I did these too. So we got the 3 sets of box squats, and then we got 3 sets of these belt squats. The last set, I picked up an 11th rep. Now, I notice on these, now that I'm looking at the footage, I'm not super happy about the depth, at least on this first set. But a lot of it's trying to get into the position, trying to sit back. And that's the thing for me with reaching depth. I can't reach depth when I squat straight down. Like if I do a traditional Olympic squat, it's hard for me to reach depth. When I push my hips back, I reach depth. And that's a little harder to do on these. I do struggle with it, but the upside, I get a ridiculous amount of quad activation either way. But again, the perk, I'm getting that range of motion on those deep boxes, so I'm not as worried as long as we're just developing the quads and the glutes and the hips. Because that's why I'm doing this. For me, this is really about quads and hips. That is why I do these. Because it works them both very effectively. And you guys remember, I was doing some of this stuff before and in all the wider stance box squats, and I could actually sumo deadlift. I can't sumo right now. Stuff will build that back up. It'll give me options. So that's another thing I'm doing with this, doing these wide stance belt squats, wide stance box squats. It gives me more total development. It gives me more options. I get strong at both of those again. I might be able to sumo pull, and I might find the sumo passes the conventional. Who knows? We'll see. We'll just get all around strong and then figure out where I'm at on that. Because I've always been stronger at conventional, but we had the sumo at 600 at one time. I can't do anywhere near that now. Well, maybe I can now with these new things I'm doing again. But a while back I couldn't. So again, it just gives me more options. You know, doing all this wider stance stuff, like something like I'm doing all the wider grip stuff for the upper body. Certain muscles get worked that don't get worked otherwise. But it's all a balance because I still do stuff like all the jam presses and things with a real close grip. But all my other pressing's wide grip. All my squatting stuff is wide grip. But then the good mornings and things are not. They're a little more narrow stance. So we're working everything. We're working everything. But again, the wide stance squatting, it uses more muscles. But again, struggling to kind of really sit back on these today. But again, the upside, at least I picked up another rep, which was hard. It was hard. But again, good performance nonetheless. And got a hell of a pump in my legs. Reverse hypers. I managed to squeeze out extra reps. Instead of just trying to get to my 25, I was counting. And I break these up in my head. I don't count to 25. I do 15, then 10. Because I'll lose count otherwise. And it just seems daunting. But I know that I got past 25 on the final set of these. I got like 3 extra reps. So it's like, hey, great. Means we're getting slightly stronger at these. But I've been able to perform well on these for a long time. Which we need to be able to. Again, glutes, the low back, all of that. Those things get worked tremendously well. Now, it obviously works other things like the hips and the hamstrings, but some of that doesn't get worked as well as some of these other lifts I've done. But glutes and lower back, this is one of the best exercises you can do. And I personally, this is the only movement that has ever given me glute DOMs. And again, I think this will carry over to my box squatting quite a bit again. Definitely carries over to my deadlift, I feel like. So we'll get it all moving. But if anything, all this stuff here, it'll help with my box squats. And if the box squats go up, deadlift goes up. Deadlift goes up. So again, adjustments and everything. Sorry, I'm yawning there. But, you know, pretty happy with all of this work today. We picked up a rep on the belt squat. Did really great on the glute ham raise to the point where I'm considering trying to add 5 pounds on. Box squats went good. I got a PR off that bar, even with a 1-inch lower box. And it's been 7 months. I checked. It was 7 months ago. So in 7 months, I've dropped 1 inch lower on the box, even doing no box squatting, and put 30 pounds on it. So we need to keep that moving up. We need to get that box up over 500 with that bar. And we need to be working on getting towards 600 with the other bars on the box squat. So I'm going to be doing a lot of box squatting again for a while. It built my squat. You know, everyone forgets, we're like, oh, you did all that box squatting, but then I went to back squatting. But I hit that 605 camber bar squat in a very short period of time. It wasn't enough time to have built a bunch of muscle. I want to say it was something like 6 weeks after I stopped box squatting and went back to back squatting. It was something like 6 weeks. You don't build a lot of muscle in 6 weeks. And my best box squat with that bar had been 70 pounds lighter. We get strong on the box squat, the back squat automatically goes up. But I wasn't happy with the mechanics on my back squats lately. I'm really unhappy with them. And so I want to get back into the flow of the way that I do box squats and then transfer that back over to a back squat as a full power squat. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.